Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Skill RPA. And in this video series, we are focusing on BotsDNA use cases. So we have a website which is called as BotsDNA, and let me share my screen. So we have the website called BotsDNA, and where we can see different use cases. Let me come back to the home. And so we are going to cover all these use cases, like how we can solve step by step. And also we'll discuss about the other alternate solutions for that. And also if possible, like if we have more than one possible solutions, we'll try to do that as well. And as part of this series, this is the first video which we are going to focus on this locator. And let us click on this. And here the requirement is like we need to extract the information from this. And for suppose if we say like Andhra Pradesh Grameen Vikas Bank, and we have four in the Germany and five in the Mexico and two in Netherlands. So what we need to do? So if we click on this output XLSX and let us see this, how it looks like. So like we have the country names here, right? Germany, Mexico, and we need to have that in the sheet names. Like for suppose it's Germany, we'll just take this. And we'll put this here. And for Mexico, we'll put this here. So in the similar way, we will be doing it for all the countries, and we need to give the country customer name and the number of locations. So for Andhra Bank, we'll put this customer name, and the number of locations is 4. So in the similar way, we need to write it for all this. And so it is so easy, right? Like we can just extract the information and we can just split it out, or like we can filter the table and we can put that. But the challenge here is the column names will keep on changing. Now, if I refresh it again from Mexico, like Germany, Mexico, Netherlands, we have, right? So let me refresh this. Now we got the Brazil, Canada, Egypt. So this column names are keep on changing, and the column names are not fixed. So here, what will happen is like the column names are dynamically changing. So how we are going to deal with that? Like though we take all this thing into the data table, here the column names are not fixed. So how we are going to do and how we are going to handle it? Okay. So like this is the requirement. I hope like everyone got the requirement, and let us go into the UiPath Studio and try to see what solution we can put that. Close this. No. So here we'll create a process that is bots DNA locator use case. So giving the meaningful name to any project, or all those things are like my basic best practices which we should follow. And the description, this process is to solve locator use case from Bots DNA website. So this is how we are going to do. And compatibility, we have 3. And initially we have the Windows legacy only. Now we got the Windows and the cross platform. And now Windows legacy we cannot use because it's going to be out of support going further. So we will be going with Windows. And like there are some activities which are not available in Windows legacy, which are on marketplace. So which needs to be migrated to the new .NET framework or a new compatibility versions of UiPath. So we'll click on create. So our process is got created. Now we should start working on it. And we'll try to do one thing. Initially, we'll go with only the classic design. And once we complete all the use cases in the classic design, we will try to do the same again in the modern design concept. So we will be starting with the classic design now. Let me see. I think I have the modern design concept here, like because my design is modern design. And if you see here, right, like the table extraction or like app or web recorder. So for that, there are 2 options. Like directly we can come here and change the design experience. We can just toggle this off so that like we'll get only the classic design. And the other way around is we can go to activities, and in this filter we can see this show classic, so that like we can have the classic design activities as well into the modern design. So for now, I don't want to use both the combination. We'll see in the later videos like how we can use, but for now, I'll just turn off this modern design and I'll be switching to the classic design. And if we see in the classic design, we have multiple recorders, whereas in the modern design, we have only one recorder, which is like compatible for both the desktop and the web recording. But here we have different recorders separately. And now we created the process. So what we will do is we'll try to start with this URL. So here I'm hard coding all the values because I want to focus more on the solution rather than like maintaining into assets or arguments or something. So we'll use the open browser activity. So this open browser activity is to open any browser based on the URL. And we need to select the browser type as well. So here we have a different browsers, and I'll go with the Chrome. So once we open this, we just need to identify whether this locator, customer locator is available or not, because in order to make sure the page is open, we will be using element exists activity. Element exists. So we'll identify this. Oops. Looks like the UIPath extension is not enabled. Let me do one thing, click on install, and let me close this. So let me open the Chrome. Let me see in the extensions. I have UiPath. What is this? So I need to enable this extension. Now the extension is enabled, and let me close this out and let us run this. Instead of that, let us go to the website directly and see what we can do. Yeah, now we got this, and we will identify it here, the customer locator. Now I could able to identify this. So we'll identify this, and we will be making sure that like the page was open, and we'll go to the properties and we'll see the target. So let me minimize my video. It's creating a problem. Better let me turn off this video. Yeah. So now in the selector, what we'll do is we got the tag of H1. So header is common in all the pages, but so I don't want to go with the H1. I want to go with the exact name. And also we have this title as well as an identifier, but I want to go with the exact name, so which is the customer locator. So now we will click on the validate, and we are saving this. And so now we got this. And now we will be creating a Boolean variable in order to validate that like the page was opened or not. Locator open, and we'll put an if condition. It is always recommended to use this element exists in order to make sure that like um, whether the page was opened or not. So based on that, like we can use so that will help us to understand like where exactly we went wrong. So here what we can do is we'll just throw an exception, which is an application exception here. It's not a business rule exception, it's an application exception because the page was not opened. Locator page was not opened. Please try after some time. So we can just write something like whatever the error message we want to do. So now we throw in the exception. Now, in case if that is open, so what we want to do, we want to extract the information from this into a data table. So I don't want to put everything in this sequence, and I don't want to make it more complex, clumsy. So I'll create a new sequence, extract customer location data. And I created it, and this won't have any input variables. It will have an output variable, which is dt underscore out underscore customer data. And it is the direction is out. So this is the syntax we generally follow when we are giving the argument naming conventions. If it is a data table, we will prefix with dt, or else it will be with the direction only. So the type is data table. We are going to get the data table out of it. So here we need to use the data scrapping here. We click on this. When we click on this, it will extract the whole table. It's not necessary to do much with this. So we got all the data. And here I want to put 0 because I want to get all the data, whatever I have. And we don't have any next page. So we'll click on the finish. And it is asking, do you have any other pages to do that? But we don't have anything. So we'll click on no. So the data extraction is done. And here automatically an output variable will be created under this wizard. So I want to change that to dt underscore out underscore because I want to take this data out from this. And what we will do is we'll just delete this out variable. Okay. So the data extraction is done. So what we will do is we'll just drag and drop this YAML file here. And here we got this. Okay, we got the data table. So we will create dt customer data. So here we are not prefixing with any directions or underscores because it's a variable. And now we got the data. And what we need to do is we need to separate all this, right? So what we will do is we will loop through each column, irrespective of the column name. We will be looping through each column and we'll take the country name. So what we will do is we'll use for each activity because I want to loop through each column. Customer column. And here it is tt dot columns. So it will loop through each column. And the type argument, what we have here is object. So we need to change it to data column. So now we got the data column. And here we'll try to print out what is a column name. But here we doesn't want to create a sheet name with the customer name, right? So we need to have the customer name. And we'll put a if condition. If the customer column name method is to get the column name because this is the column object and this is the method which will return us the column name equal to, if this is the case, we need to ignore. So generally my way of writing is we should write much. I generally write much code into that then block, and I won't prefer to write the functionalities in the else block because if it is satisfying only one condition and if one ignore something, so I prefer to write in this way. So you can put this not equal to symbol or you can put this equal to, and in front of this you can write not as well. So either of these two ways are correct. And here I wanna just see what actually I'm getting. So we'll use the log message. We put info. We can say the country name, right? Country name, customer column name is the country. We'll see like whether we are getting the correct name or not. And what I'll do is let me close this sheet. Let me close this as well. And we'll run this file and see how we are getting the output. Let me minimize this as well. What was started and it opened the website. And now we will see in the output. So I got all the column names, right? So I'm getting the exact column names. So what I need to do is I just need to filter for this. When I'm looping through Germany, I need only the Germany data and the customer name. And this column name needs to be renamed to number of locations, right? And let me see the output file, how it looks like. Number of locations, right? So I just need to do that renaming and I need to keep the data filtered out. So what we will do is we'll use filter data table activity. And here the initial data table is whatever we received from that um, this extract customer data, and we need to filter. But before that, dt location data. So for each location it is. And here the basic thing, the base thing, what is this customer name we need to have, and we need to keep this output columns, and we need to keep this column for sure. And the another column is customer column dot column name. So we just wanna keep only these two. And once we get this dt location data, I wanna rename that second column, right? It will be a second column. When we filter this to keep that, this will be the first column and the second will be the second column. So I don't want to loop it again. And but here, in order to rename, right, we may need to loop that. So again, we need to use for each dt location data dot columns. There is an alternate way as well. Like we can use assign activity here to rename the columns, right? dt location data dot columns of index 1 dot column name, and we can keep this number of locations there. So it will be updated to the new name. We can change the column names in this way, or we need to loop through that and we need to put one more condition. So we need to do all this circus. So now here, what we need to do is we need to create the sheet name with the country name, which is the location, and we need to write that into the Excel. So for that, we'll use write range. And I'll put that in the same folder path, and we'll see output dot xlsx, and the sheet name will be customer column dot column name, and the data table is dt locator. And in the properties, we'll check this headers so that like we'll be having the column names as well. So this is how we generally do that. And we'll run this file and see whether we are getting the required output or not. So let me close everything and let us run this file. Yeah. So let me open this project folder and see what we have that in the output.xlsx. So we got Germany, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand. We got all the countries right now. And let us see the column names of each as well. Customer name and the number of locations. So we got the output file as expected. And this is working for this. And nowhere we gave the column names or anything. We just renamed one column name based on the index. And we didn't used any country name, column name or something. And I just wanna check that as well, like whether it is working for other as or not. And let us delete this file and let me close this up and run this file. Here again the country names are same and it is not changing. Mm, let me delete this again. I want to see how the country names are changing and how it is working. Yeah, now it has got changed. We got Australia, China, India, and South Korea, and we'll see the output file whether it was as per the new uh, countries data. Oh, we still got the old data. I think there is something going wrong here when we are extracting the information. We'll see that. We'll go to this properties in the selectors. It is taking a table ID 5, right? We'll open this. So I don't want to go with the ID because that ID belongs to that particular table only. And all the time we are going to get that. So what I will do is I'll just put this asterisk and because the customer name is common. Okay. And I'll click on validate. So now I'll click on save. And now let us execute it again because I don't want to see that older data again. And let us delete this output file. See the complexities in this process. Now we will get Germany, Mexico, Netherlands, but again, we will run it and see. And he included almost all the possible complexities into this. And let us see, we get the data or not. We get Australia again. So we should not get in this way. And let us come here, open the properties, open the selectors. So it is going with this, like we should not have that name specific to that. We need to try multiple combinations. No, I don't want to go for it. Click on validate. I don't want to have an IDX. Let us go here. Click on this extract metadata. This is fine. It's not necessary to change anything here. Let us take this inner test as well and remove all the other input, only the customer name and remove everything else. Okay, and let us take this. We'll take this AA name. Check this and take the AA name. And why we are getting this IDX? I don't want to have this IDX again. Save. And let us try to run now again. Deleted that file and let us see how it is going now. Let us see what we have. Here we got South Africa, Switzerland, and UK. But still we are getting Australia and China, India, and Korea. So which was not supposed to be. So let us take this class as well and see like how it is going. Click on save. Okay. And let us see how it goes now. Let me open this. Refresh. It has delayed this. Yeah. And now run the file. Now it should work because we have taken the class. So the user interface automation is always depends on the target application. We need to tune the selector or modify the selector as per our requirement. So that's how we generally work with the UI automation. Let us see. I think I done a mistake. It should not be from here. It should run from the main because the open browser is in a different location. Why it's still not running? Yeah, got open. And now it should take South Africa, Spain, Sri Lanka, Switzerland, and United Kingdom, unlike the previous. And we'll refresh this. We got this outlook output.xlsx. We'll see. Still, we are getting Australia, China. Somewhere we are missing. Let's see. And this, go to here. Open the selector. Open in UI Explorer. Let us uncheck this as well. And let us not put that. And click on validate. Oh, this. Click on validate. And we'll go with save. Okay. And we'll close this and run from here. So I know like we have Australia, China, right? But the numbers got changed. So at least we will see numbers. Yeah, now looks like it is working. So let us close this. Let us close this as well, and we'll delete this file and we'll run it. Looks like now it should work. So it should have only two sheets, France and Italy, and let us see how it is going. Refresh, open this. No, it's not coming there. So we'll see this selector again. Looks like everything is correct. And let me open in UI Explorer. Yeah, I considered a visible inner text instead of inner text, and we'll see how it is going now. Click on OK. Close this. We'll delete this output. Yes. And now we will run this flow. Stop this. I think it is running from here. It should run from here. Run file. We'll open this. And what was we have Australia, China again, whatever we generally have that like in the file we are getting since a long time, right? The same we got again. And let us close this. And we'll close this as well. And we'll delete this output file. And we'll run it again. So we want to see like other than these columns, if we are getting something new, it should work for us. So that's what we need to see. Like now we got France and Italy. And let us see whether we got that updated one or not. Perfect. Now we got that. So only like by fine tuning the selector, we could able to see that. So this is how we can solve this problem. And thanks to Sudhir Nimagadda, like putting such a complexity in that, like not only with the dynamic column naming, even with the selectors or like a data extraction as well. And I'll upload this code to my Git repository and I'll share that in the description. Like you can have a code, like we can have the source code with you as well. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next use cases as well. And I won't complete that before getting into the call, or like I won't try the use case. I'll try the use cases to solve the problem on the call, so that like you will get to know like what might be the problems we generally face when we are dealing with such a what we call such a use cases, like in real time, how we are going to face the problems and how we can solve these things. So I think so the next use case we are going to start with let me go back to the bots DNA and active loans, and the next use case of the bots DNA, the next video will be. And stay tuned and subscribe to my YouTube channel Skill RPA, and thanks for watching.